everyone, my name's Eric Hopkins, aka JEL. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So everybody's talking about the election, obviously coming up at the end of 2024 here in November, and people on the left especially want to talk about how if Donald Trump gets reelected, democracy is at risk and democracy is going to die. We saw what he did on January 6th, which he didn't actually incite the insurrection, by the way, which in my opinion wasn't even an insurrection; it was a riot that got out of control. All he said was, make your voices heard peacefully and patriotically. Go and make your voices heard. Yes, he talked about how he believed the election was rigged, but that's nothing worse than Democrats have done in the past, which I did a video on recently about how Democrats have denied elections as well for many, many years. So go check that out. But of course, like I said, the left want to talk about how democracy is going to end and things are going to change, and he's just going to upend all the institutions here in the United States. Well, I thought it would be interesting to check out this video from the Officer Tatum, Brandon Tatum, over on YouTube. So if you've not subscribed to him, go check him out. But he did this video about Whoopi Goldberg, who on The View was enraged at Trump mentioning the fact that there's an anti-white sentiment going on in the United States right now, which is 100% true, by the way. But we're going to listen to him a little bit. I'll probably interject some thoughts here as well. And we're going to get in. He's going to get into a few other things, talking about the end of democracy, how the left is pushing that narrative to fearmonger for votes. So we're going to talk about that as well as some other things. So let's check this out. Here we go.
To this.
The dreaded.
In a new interview released this morning, you know who told Time magazine what he would do if he gets back in the White House. He's going to deploy the military to deport migrants.
Okay, so she's taking that out of context, first of all. When he says he hasn't actually said he's going to be deploying the military. It's a possibility if things obviously don't go well. But obviously the National Guard and local police will probably do a lot of it. But when he talks about, deporting migrants, we're not talking migrants, we're talking illegal aliens. He's not talking about people who are here legally. If you're not here legally, yes, you should be deported because you are breaking the law and you shouldn't be here. And a lot of them could be terrorists. Not saying they all are. But again, if you broke the law when you came here, it's deportable. I mean, it just is. Obviously, the left is. This is how I want to break this into a little bit more of a narrative here. But this is one of the things that the left will do if Donald Trump gets in and starts deporting people legally, because that is what the president should do. If you're here illegally, you should be deported. They're going to frame him as Hitler, and he's trying to bus people to camps and things like that, and they're going to try to ship them off for doing nothing wrong. But that is not true. They're going to lie about it. So if Donald Trump gets in and does his duty, they're going to frame him as Hitler. So that's she's already started that. So
the Mexicans are going to pay for it.
And he's going to absolutely consider pardoning January 6th rioters.
Of course.
Now, the January 6th rioters thing, obviously that is due to the fact that some January 6th rioters who are in jail are wrongfully in jail because there's some people who did not get violent. They just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. And because they were identified, they've been thrown in jail as insurrectionists. Now, there's some people obviously who do deserve to be in jail for breaking windows and destroying property and things like that. But not everybody on that day were trying to overthrow the government. I don't believe anybody was actually trying to overthrow the government. They were just upset with the election. But it was something that got out of control. But they want to frame it that he's going to let go all of the people who wanted to overthrow the government. That's not what it is. He's going to look into the cases and see who's been wrongfully put in jail for over like 100 years and stuff like that for just walking on the grounds. Again, she's fear mongering here.
Now, he was also asked if he thinks there will be political violence if he loses, and he answered, "It depends."
Let's see how the crowd's going, oh, God. It depends. Yeah, he's not wrong about that. Because if Trump gets reelected, you think the left is going to just go quiet? You think January 6th was bad? They're going to. You saw what they did in 2020, the Summer of Love, after the George Floyd, incident. They burned cities. I mean, do you think they're going to just go quietly and not try to? You want to talk about an insurrection? They may actually try to pull an insurrection if Donald Trump is reelected. So. That's what Donald Trump is saying. He's not saying, if I lose, I'm going to sick people, to tear down the government. I'm going to send my supporters to, overthrow the government. That's not what he meant. But she's, again, framing it that way to fearmonger.
Is he referring to something he was wearing?
Ha ha ha.
You're on fire already.
You know? So is this, I mean, there's also, this is my favorite.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you before I say it that it enraged me. There is a definite anti-white feeling in the country right now.
Oh, please.
Yeah, that's what he said. You know, sir.
He's right.
Sir.
Yeah, sir. Nobody in your family was hung.
Okay.
Nobody in your family was chased because of the color of their skin. How dare you? There's no anti-white issue here. You are perpetrating anti-humanist issues here.
Yeah, okay. Because he's trying to uphold the law.
So the question
that's all he's doing.
Is he the future? Is he the future? Well, I gotta ask.
Yeah.
You know, that's the gig. They pay me.
You're overpaid.
I read this bit.
What her claiming that there's no anti-white sentiment is racist in and of itself. This woman is too grown and too old to be that stupid. What do you mean your family wasn't lynched or hung from a tree? White people were hung too. White people were lynched too. When you look at the history of lynching in the country, there's about 3,200 blacks were lynched and 1,200 whites were lynched. 1,200 white people were lynched in historical documentation of lynching in America. Then there was more blacks, but white people were lynched too. What are y'all saying? These people are so stupid to me. They act like white folks was just getting along.
Yeah. Whoopi Goldberg thinks that there is no anti-white sentiment going on in the country. This video that I'm doing right here is what drives me crazy the most about our media and everything. Obviously, all you got to do is look on social media and look at the college campus protests going on right now in support of Hamas and Gaza and the Palestinian people and all that sort of thing. There are people on the campuses right now chanting, you know, they basically want the death of the Jews. They want Palestinians free, but they also say they hate white people and death to America, death to white people.
Stop. Fuck him. You're just a white person. You're a white person. Get out. We don't like white people. Oh. Free Palestine!
You can't sit there with a straight face and say there's no anti-white sentiment in this country. I understand Whoopi Goldberg is coming from a person of color's, you know, history of it. I understand where she's coming from in that regard, and she's not wrong about that. But to sit there and say that everybody wants to talk about how white people got it so good. If anything today, white people are the most marginalized right now. Straight Christian white people, you know, and conservatives on top of that, which is basically me. I mean, people who are supposedly marginalized, like the LGBTQ community or people of color and people of other ethnicities and races or sexualities and genders or whatever it might be, they're kind of put up on a pedestal nowadays. It's not so much that they're being marginalized anymore. They have been put to the forefront that we've got to be when we've got Black History Month, we've got Hispanic Heritage Month, you know, we've got, you know, all these different months. Where's White Appreciation Month? You know, people want to, they're blaming white people for all the sins of America here. That's what people are doing. So to sit there and say with a straight face that there is no anti-white sentiment, you are lying. You're an idiot. As Brandon Tatum said, you're too old to be this stupid. So now we're about to get into the meat of the video here. This is the rest of that video.
Continuing on the segment, you too grown to be this stupid. Let's roll clip 1 from Nicole Wallace.
One of the nicer traditions about Washington, for a night at least, the President of the United States dines and then tries to entertain assembled members of the Free Press. The annual White House Correspondents' Dinner is one of the symptoms, one of the signs of a healthy, functioning democracy. A one-night only hiatus from the normal in Washington.
Listen to how they phrase this.
To suspend those more formal aspects of the relationship between a president and the news media. It's a coming together, and at its core, the president doing everything right celebrates and honors a free press. Behind the levity, though, there was something darker, a darker undercurrent, if you will, and a point that the president had to make, and it was more profoundly serious. Because at this exact time next year, depending on what happens in November, 7 months from now, We can't say for certain that there would even be a White House Correspondents' Dinner, or even a free press, or even a White House press corps, right?
Oh,
Don't have
get
to
out
have
of here.
one. Could be another Norm Trump blows up.
You guys are acting like, we've never seen Donald Trump as president before. You do realize he was president for 4 years and he never once got rid of the press, right? He called them fake news because, as they're doing right here in this report, they're framing things in ways that are completely untrue. Whoopi Goldberg, we just showed that she did that. But in here, this MSNBC report, which MSNBC is one of the fakest news outlets out there, all it is Democrat propaganda. You could say Fox is Republican propaganda, but not nearly as bad as CNN and MSNBC. They show the other side of things, but they have dissenting voices that are Democrats on those channels, or on that channel. MSNBC and CNN does not do that. They shut down any dissenting opinion, and they frame things. They flat out had Nancy Pelosi on the other day, and Nancy Pelosi was just lying through her fake teeth, her dentures, and she was half corrected by somebody on MSNBC, and she flat out attacked them, talking about how they were a Trump apologist.
And Joe Biden is doing that, created 9 million jobs in his term in office. Donald Trump has the worst record of job loss of any president. So we just have to make sure people know.
That was a global pandemic.
He had the worst record of any president. We've had other concerns in our country. If you want to be an apologist for Donald Trump, that may be your role, but it ain't mine. And he has the worst.
Anybody can accuse me of that.
So that's MSNBC for you. I mean, as soon as she went off script and said, well, there was a global pandemic, which, it affected the job numbers for Donald Trump. They want to talk about how Joe Biden created all these jobs, but they fail to mention that the reason why there's 9 million, 10 million, or 14 million, or however many he says he's created, that there's that many, is because most of those were recovered jobs from the COVID-19 pandemic. He didn't actually create those jobs. And of the few, I think it was like 4 million he did create, they're actually part-time jobs for people who had to take 2 jobs because they can't afford to live on one income in his economy. And then as soon as this lady is or Nancy Pelosi is fact-checked by this lady on MSNBC, which was shocking in and of itself that MSNBC actually tried to tell the truth a little bit here. She obviously, immediately called her a Trump apologist for, going off script and going against the narrative that the Democrats are trying to push here. They love to tout how Donald Trump lost all these jobs. He's lost more jobs than any president in history. Well, yeah, because not very many presidents have had to deal with a global pandemic that shut down everything. And by the way, Donald Trump tried to reopen those places and those jobs, and Democrats said, no, we're going to keep it shut. Why? Because so they can blame Donald Trump. That's the only reason they did it. Damn grandma, damn your kids. We don't care about that. We say we do. We say it's for the children. We got to do this for the children. That's how Nancy talks with her dentures. But we've got to do it for the children. Because they don't fit in her mouth. They're about to fall out. She's an evil, vindictive woman. And as soon, you can see it in her eyes, as soon as the woman from MSNBC tried to fact check her a little bit, she goes, what are you doing? How dare you tell the truth? How dare you go against what I'm saying right now? Laughable. Unbelievable. But getting back to this, I mean, listen to how the rest of this report is framed. She wants to talk about a free press. A free press does not take sides. Let me repeat that. A free press does not take sides. And I'm saying the same about Fox, MSNBC, CNN, anybody. The press is supposed to report what they hear, the facts, and the truth. What these companies do, all they do is spew Democrat lies and propaganda. That's all they do, and they pass it off as fact. And anybody who goes against that narrative, like Nancy Pelosi just pointed out, is a liar. Is misinformation, is disinformation, but they spin things and twist things to match their narrative, and that's all they do. They don't care about truth. They don't care about you and your family, nothing. All they care about is their people getting reelected and them getting paid and getting power. That's all it's about. It sickens me.
The stakes of the 2024 election were a living, breathing subplot of this year's White House Correspondents' Dinner. It came up in the jokes, came up in the inherent contrast between President Joe Biden there in the room and the coup plotting, openly autocratic modeling of himself, Donald Trump, who wants to replace him.
Listen to that.
The ever hilarious superstar Colin Jost of Weekend Update on Saturday Night Live finished his remarks on a serious note as well. He told a story about why his grandfather outside President Joe Biden's demographics voted for Biden.
My grandfather, a Staten Island firefighter, voted for you, Mr. President. He voted for you in the last election that he ever voted in. I mean, I'm sure someone else will vote twice in this election using his name, but that's just how the Democratic machine works.
Bingo. Not funny, actually.
He voted for you, and the reason that he voted for you is because you're a decent man.
Ah, decent man.
Decency. President Joe Biden, meanwhile, finished his
decency. The administration who allows, topless trans people on the front lawn of the White House, who is allowing people to have butt sex in, places where laws are made and things like that. Decency. The one who calls out half of America as MAGA extremists and domestic terrorists to the country? Joe Biden, whose son is a crackhead. The guy who allowed cocaine to be found at the White House. The guy who checked his watch when, servicemen that he got killed, 13 servicemen he got killed, were returned. The bodies were returned, but he was checking his watch because he was too preoccupied with what time it was and how long he had to be there. Decency, huh? They want to say Donald Trump is the evil one. But I'm sorry, there's a lot of things that Joe Biden and his administration does that is not decent whatsoever. All you got to do is look into their life. They are not decent human beings.
His remarks on a serious note as well. Watch.
The defeated former president has made no secret of his attack on our democracy. He said he wants to be a dictator on day one. And so much
lie. Again, they're taking Trump out of context. What he said was he would be a dictator only, they leave out that word, only on day one, when he was talking to Sean Hannity at a round table or whatever he was hosting.
Under no circumstances, you are promising America tonight, you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
Except
Look,
for?
he's going crazy. Except for day one.
Meaning?
I want to close the border and I want to drill.
That's not retribution. I'm
going to be, he keeps, we love this guy. He says, you're not going to be a dictator, are you? I said, no, other than day one. We're closing the border and we're drilling. After that, I'm not a dictator, okay?
He said he'd be only a dictator on day one. And then after that, he wouldn't be a dictator. What he was referring to was the fact that he was going to use executive orders to, secure our border and then drill, baby, drill. And I'm sure there's some other executive orders he'll probably take as well, as every single president does on day one, including Joe Biden. But they leave out that context. They say, he said he'll be a dictator on day one. That is not what Donald Trump said. Lies.
more. He tells supporters he is their revenge and retribution. When in God's name have you heard of another president say something like that? No. And he promised a bloodbath when he loses again.
Again, I did a video on this channel about the bloodbath hoax, the conspiracy theory that Joe Biden continues to lie and peddle, and the Democrats are going to lie all the way through the election about it. Donald Trump was, when he said the word bloodbath, he was talking about the automobile industry and how the economy could be a bloodbath if Biden gets reelected. He was not insinuating there was going to be a bloodbath if he doesn't get his way and win the presidency. This is what the Democrats do. They lie about the bloodbath. They lie about the very fine people on both sides hoax. They lie about everything. And a lot of you people are, again, just sheep, believing everything they say online, on the news, all this garbage. And he's just repeating it over and over again. Where are the damn fact checkers? Where are the fact checkers? Did they take a damn vacation, or are they only fact checking one side here? And a lot of times when they fact check the Republican side or Donald Trump, they're flat out lying on the fact checks too. You can't believe this bullshit. Okay. This is ridiculous. But yet Biden is going to sit there and spew this nonsense, act like he's the decent grandpa who's only a good, lovable Catholic man. Baloney, in my opinion. And this is what frustrates me. There's so many people worried about the fall of democracy. This is how democracy dies, okay? With thunderous applause. They're going to cheer this man as if he's the, a wonderful, decent grandfather human being who only wants to see good things for this country, when in reality, he's destroying this country. And a lot of it is damn intentional, in my opinion. I'm sorry. You want to talk about Donald Trump being a dictator? He's not the one silencing the press if they're not reporting the right things. Twitter is now run by Elon Musk. It was completely silenced by the left, especially during the pandemic. The dissenting opinions. They were only getting leftist ideologies out there. That's why they hate Elon Musk right now. You've got Joe Biden's DOJ is trying to right now jail his political opponent. They try to frame it. Oh, well, he committed crimes. He has to be held accountable. What about Joe Biden and his accountable crimes? There's more evidence for Joe Biden than there ever was for Donald Trump and his crimes. And right now, all that's being shown in some of the trials, these hoax trials that are going on in New York for Donald Trump, there's nothing to show for it. And pretty soon it's going to be pretty evident that there's nothing against Donald Trump. They're just using, and a lot of times it's already been shown. It's all, like Donald Trump says, is election interference. They're trying to keep him from the campaign trail. They're trying to smear his name. It's just sad at this point. The Democrats are flat out evil.
We have to take this seriously. 8 years ago, you could have written off it as just Trump talk, but no longer, not after January 6th. So tonight,
again,
I'd like to make a toast.
Out of context. Listen to this.
To a free press, to an informed citizenry, to an America where freedom and democracy endure. God bless America.
Informed citizenry. Free press. When Donald Trump says they're fake news, this is what he's talking about. Listen to the insincerity in his voice. I mean, it's all lies. And they want to talk about they want to have a free press, but it's controlled by their political party. That is not a free press. That's propaganda. They want to talk about Russia being bad. The United States is just as bad, if not worse. An informed America. No, informed with what you want them to believe. That's what he means. Democracy, they're worried about democracy falling. No, they're worried about their power falling. That's what he means. When Democrats talk about, a threat to democracy, no, they mean a threat to their power. Because democracy is not at stake. Not to mention, all this stuff is not possible. The president doesn't have power to, remove the press or, take them away. Should they be the institutions that Donald Trump has talked about possibly going after are ones that probably should need to be restructured and changed, but not gotten rid of, because there's so much corruption inside, like the Department of Justice, the FBI, the CIA, the press in general, all this stuff. That stuff needs to be cleaned and the evil and corruption rooted out of it. That's what Donald Trump means. But these people take it as if he wants to upend democracy. That is not what he said. Not once. You can't find the quote because he's never said it like that. Never. This is bullshit.
I've seen that toast a bunch of times, but it landed very differently this year, because depending on what happens in November, 7 months from right now, this time next year, I might not be sitting here. There might not be a White House Correspondents' Dinner or a free press.
Oh, stop.
While our democracy wouldn't exactly fall apart immediately without it, the real threat looms larger. A candidate with outward disdain, not just for a free press, but for all of our freedoms and for the rule of law itself.
Not true.
I hope they burn in hell.
Yep.
You too grown to be that stupid. And,
I agree.
And it's not that they stupid, it's that they brainwashing us. That lady know god dog well that Donald Trump ain't finna get in the office and overthrow the First Amendment. You know better than that.
Yeah.
But you evil. So you just saying whatever you think you want to say because you evil.
Yep.
If I used to always wonder, man, how do people go to hell and stuff? That seemed like such fun. Because people like that, they evil.
This is how.
That woman woke up today, or whenever she made it, and she thought to herself, I know the president can't overthrow the First Amendment. I know the president can't get rid of free speech in this country. I know that it's impossible to happen. It's a constitutional right. A president does not have the authority to unilaterally change the Constitution.
Bingo.
Now she woke up with a latte and soy in her hand and said, I know that I'm finna lie today. And I don't care who it hurt.
Yeah.
I don't care if it hurt him. I don't care if it hurt the reputation of Trump supporters. I don't care what repercussions is going to come from the words that are coming out of my mouth, but I'm going to say it anyway. I know better, but I'm going to say it anyway. because the ends justify the means. People like that are dangerous.
Yep.
People that don't count the cost for the things that they say are dangerous and evil. Whoopi Goldberg know better than what she said. Nancy Pelosi, oh frozen face self, she know better than what she's talking about. She tried to attribute all of the job losses during the pandemic to Donald Trump and all of the reintroduction back into the workforce after they got rid of the pandemic, attributed that to Joe Biden. These people are evil, stupid, ignorant.
Yep.
And I hope they burn in hell.
I don't think they're ignorant. I think they're doing it on purpose.
And I know it sounds harsh, but this country would be such a better place if it wasn't for evil people like this.
Amen, brother.
We could all get along. We could all have a fair, objective pick of the president of the United States of America, but we can't because these evil devils get on television knowing that they lying and continuing to push a lie. Hold the phone.
Yep. Hey, absolutely. And like I said, you want to talk about democracy in jeopardy or, a threat to democracy. I'm going to give you a little bit of insight to what I think is going to happen in the future here. If Donald Trump gets reelected, I kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier, they're going to frame him as Hitler. I mean, they already are. But no matter what he does, like if he deports a lot of people because they're here illegally, which is his duty to do, they will say he's Hitler. If he tries to secure voting, ID laws and things like that or whatever for the entire country, not just certain states, or things like that. They're going to try to say he's, discriminating against certain people who don't have, the ability to get, voter ID, which, the left's been doing that forever. No matter what it is he does, they're going to frame it in some way. Or if riots break out, he's going to, send out the National Guard or the military to, reestablish law and order because people are getting out of their, out of control and out of their minds at this point. They're going to say he's turning the military against United States citizens. No matter what, he's in a lose-lose situation. He can't win, no matter what regardless of how right it is. I'm sorry, that's how democracy dies. It's not anything that Donald Trump is doing. Donald Trump has done nothing to kill democracy. If anything, he's trying his best to uphold it. But the media, the Democrats, they're so power hungry, corrupt, that they will do anything to hold on to that. Why do you think they hate him so much? The View used to love him.
I believe him because I believe Donald. He's an upstanding American.
No, you're not hearing things. That's Joy Behar admitting her respect and adoration for Donald Trump.
Who's mad? Donald Trump. Joy said the guy wears a tube.
He says that it's his own hair. So I believe him because I believe Donald. He's an upstanding American.
Yeah.
But America doesn't believe him. We've gotten, a letter poured in yesterday. Asking, is that really his hair?
Oh my God.
Okay, you ready? Come in. Just check it out, please.
No, it's true. It's real.
It's not very pretty, but it's real.
So right there, I just showed you. I mean, the hypocrisy here. This is sad, guys. I mean, think to yourself, why do they hate him now? Because he's telling the truth about the evil corruption that's going on in Hollywood, politics, all this stuff. All the truth is starting to come to light for the American people. The veil has been lifted over their eyes because Donald Trump's not this messianic figure. He's not. And contrary to popular belief on the Democratic side and on the left, the people on the right do not worship Donald Trump, okay? We just see him as the best possibility for helping this country get corrected. The only thing that's going to save us is our good Lord Jesus Christ. That is the only thing. And if you don't believe in Jesus, I highly, highly encourage you to get to know him and get saved and repent, because this country may be lost already. Donald Trump is not going to save this country. Only the good Lord can. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and turn from their wicked ways, I will hear them and I will forgive them and I will restore their land. That is the only way this country will be saved. A lot of people don't see what's actually happening right now. They've got you so focused on Donald Trump being the evil dictator or supposed wannabe dictator that you're not paying attention to what these people in power are doing. The stuff that they're implementing. Joe Biden wants to bring people from Gaza over here, talking about how, they want to give humanitarian aid to certain people, and they want to bring them into the country to live here. Those are possibly terrorists. You've already got a wide open border that's allowing in God knows who, terrorists included. I mean, and they have no plans to stop it. They don't want to stop it because they want voters. I mean, the stuff that's going on right now, Joe Biden should have been impeached 5 times over or more right now. But they want to talk about Trump being the indecent one who can't be trusted and is a threat to our democracy. There are things that the Biden administration are doing that are just flat out evil. These are demons. I'm sorry. I don't think like people like Whoopi Goldberg are ignorant. I don't think people like Joe Biden are ignorant or anybody in the Democratic Party. And obviously there are some good Democrats out there. I'm not saying that all of them are evil. They're not. But the ones who are in the power making right now, yeah, they're evil, demonic. They're pushing things that are flat out demonic, that are sinful, that are everything against that, everything that God stands for, everything that's Bible, and I know not everybody believes the Bible, but you should, in my opinion, you should. I mean, it's the truth. It is objective fact. It is objective truth in a world that has freaking lost its mind. I would rather sit here on this channel, and I will always, and I know I'm not perfect. God knows that, and I try my best every day. But I would rather be biblically correct than politically correct. You can look at the top of my banner right there. I got that on there for a reason. Because there are certain things that are going on in this world that is absolutely sinful, especially in this country. And I would not be surprised if the good Lord above sent the meteor to wipe us out, because Lord knows we deserve it. You want to talk about democracy dying? This is how democracy dies. They frame it as they're doing the right thing for the good of democracy, for the good of your safety, your freedom. But at the same time, they're doing everything to meet the globalist agenda, to create the new world order, just as the Bible predicted in the book of Revelation, having a one world government where the Antichrist rises. This is going to happen. Whether Donald Trump gets elected or not, it's only going to be a stay. Donald Trump will stop it for maybe 4 years, and then we'll be right back to the globalist agenda again with the World Economic Forum and the world coming to an end eventually. I know that sounds sad and very doomsday, but it's the truth. That is what the Bible has predicted. And if you can't see that happening right now, you need to get into your Bible, because it is telling you what's about to happen. We got the dollar going under. We got the one world currency coming, and we're probably going to have the mark of the beast and the chips and all that. That's all going to. It's no probably about it. It's a matter of when, not if. So I'm sorry, this is a little bit of a doom and gloom video, but this is what's happening right now. And if you can't see what's really going on, you need to look a little further, because this is how democracy dies, with thunderous applause, as if it's the right thing to do in the world. And there will be many people who will be deceived and by it.
So this is how liberty dies, with thunderous applause.
All right. Well, what do you guys think? Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and pray up, everybody. We need it. Until my next video, guys, take care and God bless.